Welcome back, everybody.
Ooh.
And this is why I came out to record early this morning, because the wind was going to pick up. I think it's only 7 a.m. and here it is, just like they said, the wind's picking up already. We're already getting 20 plus mile an hour gusts. I think it's going to turn into 30 or 40 or something like that later today. So out here in the springtime, it's windy every day. There's just really windy, super windy, ridiculously windy, and then you can deal with it windy. I think today is going to be one of those you can deal with it windy days. We've got lots and lots of changes around here. Let me show you. So we got 4 of these, and I already have 2 of them installed outside. So these panels we got from Santan Solar down near Phoenix, and they're 250 watt panels that run at 37 volts at 8.5 amps, actually 8.8 amps. Oh, look at how gorgeous these panels are. I mean, these are the best used panels I have seen yet to date. I mean, there's a little bit of sun wear on them, but so I took these panels and I took some Meguiar's cleaner wax for cars, and I did the whole thing. And it made the surface of the glass on these look absolutely brand new, just like they were when they were purchased. It took out all of what they call the snail trails and the hard watermarks and the discoloration. And it took all of it. It's completely gone. And the surface feels now just completely smooth, just like on a brand new solar panel. So I did that to all 4. Figured why not? And I also just took, these are just some basic wood brackets that I had. I just used up old brackets. So I mounted all the brackets on the panels on one side. There's no need to put them on the side where they're going to meet together because the framework I made doesn't work that way. So let me go outside and show you the framework I made for these. Let's go. All right, so here's the panels. So first off, you can already see that there's a coating of dust on them, but look at how much cleaner and look at how much better they are than these other ones that I had that I did not polish. So I have 6 panels. I got these, you guys are gonna laugh. I got these for $50 a panel. That's why I couldn't resist. So anyway, this is my new solar setup. I still have to replace these 2 panels with these 2 that I polished. I want them to be the same. So you can see that the 2 there on the end that I polished, you can see how much better and how much different they look. These both have the same amount of dirt on them, believe it or not. Same amount of dirt. So it's just amazing how good these things look. So let me show you. Right here you can see on the sides, those are other brackets. I've got just a piece of plate metal holding the 2 together. That's all that's really necessary. In the wintertime, I'll come out and I'll put a longer set of legs that will bring it up to, say, twice the height. In the wintertime, I'm going to go for about a 45-degree angle, and right now I'm going for about a 15-degree angle because we're heading into summer. So if you're wondering what I have here, I've added 1,000 watts of solar to our solar array. We had 640 before, and now we have another 1,000, so we have 1,640 watts now. By connecting them together in series, I've now doubled the voltage and left the amps the same. So now these panels are putting out about 72 volts and 17 amps, which is not in any way overloading the wiring. So then I have my solar cable inside of, this is basic wire loom that I had. Got it from my scrapyard. I believe it came out of a bus, and that's all I need. Nobody walks on this side of the RV. I'm not concerned with burying it. There's no need to. We don't have children here. I have nothing to worry about with anything coming along and messing with this cable. And I can take these 2 arrays and I can move them separately, and they're still tied together. All right, so now let me show you what I added in. So if you're wondering, on the front of my RV, let me zoom back a little bit. So here we go. The front of my RV, this is what I call my 2 power bays, okay? This one has my inverter, and it has my solar controller and breaker box for my 640 watt array, which is 2 320 watt panels. And we're running that through the Victron Smart Solar 150. Those 2 panels are connected together in series, so they run about 72 volts and 9.5 amps. That's all that solar wire ever sees, is 9.5 amps. And I can't stress it enough, people. I see people hook their solar up all the time in parallel and going for really high amps and end up overloading their wiring. I see so many people have their solar hooked up with 10 gauge solar wire, and they'll be running 30 plus amps through it. Remember, people, 10 gauge wire is rated at a maximum of 20 amps. That's it. You can't run 30 and 40 through it. I've seen so many people do it. If your wires get hot, if you've had to replace solar fittings of any type because they got melted, you're not hooked up the right way. Simple as that. So this is my second solar controller. This is a 60 amp solar controller. So this is doing 1,000 watts. You can see it's got a much bigger heat sink to it. Okay, and I've got it tied in. Once again, you know, you got to go with the right size of everything. I've got all of my wire on this job oversized, okay? I only needed 6 gauge wire to go to the batteries. I put 4. Sometimes it's better to just oversize everything. Now think about it. I have 1,000 watts coming into this, and I'm only running 17 amps. That's not hot. That's not overloading the wire or anything. It's something to think about. Let's say I had have hooked it up in series. I'd be running 37 amps through that wiring coming from the solar. 37, okay? I'd have to go up to like 6 gauge wire, 8 gauge. 8 gauge barely covers it. Not interested in doing it. But anyway, there's my electrical, all done nice and clean. You can see I've got 2 solar breakers there. I've got a 30 amp from the panels coming in, and I've got an 80 amp going to the batteries, which is exactly what this controller called for. So believe it or not, I added that 1,000 watts, including the solar controller and the breakers and all the wiring, for just under $600. Man, you can't beat that. $600 for another 1,000 watts of solar. So now we have 1,640. That's honestly way overkill for summertime. I mean, honestly, I could turn off my other solar array and just run off the 1,000 watts for the summer. But where it's really gonna shine is the wintertime. The wintertime, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm still bringing in close to 900 watts. And most winters up here, we're only bringing in about 350 a day with our previous solar array. So to be able to bring in 900 watts during the winter is going to be fantastic. That means on a cloudy day, I can still bring in close to 600 watts. That's amazing. That's going to keep us going. That's going to keep us with very little generator use this winter. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's not for sale yet, but I'll go ahead and let you know. If anybody out there is looking for a really good solid car, we're going to be selling the Chevy Malibu, and we'll more than likely be shopping for a car that's much more appropriate for out here for Sue to be driving all the time and for us to be going to town. Probably going to look for something like maybe a Honda CR-V or just another cheaper used SUV. That's pretty much what's going on out here. Done a lot of small projects lately that I just didn't record. Sometimes I just get into a real hurried mode when I'm working and I just don't think about recording.
This video is brought to you by Power Queen. For over 10 years, Power Queen has helped to lead the revolution in lithium iron phosphate batteries by redefining the application of green energy in family life and outdoor travel with the perfect combination of high-end technology and environmental protection. Use our affiliate link when you shop Power Queen to support our channel at no cost to you.
All right, so look at that. So right now we've got a refrigerator on and a couple of things. So look at this, it's 7 a.m. It's 7 a.m. We're already at 13.3. Batteries are at 78%. And look at that, we're bringing in positive 25 watts and we're making 1.8 amps. So out of the 1600 watts of solar at 7 a.m. when the sun is still just barely up, it's probably already feeding in, I'd say, about 10 amps into our batteries, because right now, this time of morning, we're usually using about 8 or 10 amps. So yeah, we're probably already making in the 10 to 12 amp range. And by the time we get to noon, we'll be making about 85 or 90 going into the array. That's awesome. Let me show you this big, gorgeous battery box we have here. So I have 500 amp hours of lithium under here. So let me just slide this battery box back that my friend Rady made. The graham cracker, you should go check his channel out. So there's my battery bank. There's 5 batteries under here, all tied together and insulated. And then I've got this really nice box that just fits beautifully over it. You can put whatever you want on top of it. It's awesome. I love it. This is exactly what I wanted when I designed this whole thing. I designed this to fit underneath Sue's desk. And then if we ever didn't have the desk there, we would just put a chair next to it and turn it into like a footrest area or something. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes you have to do what you got to do to get your batteries inside. And that's what we did here. But I am really pleased with the way this turned out. I can't say enough. It's exactly what I wanted. Now we'll slide this back. All right, and you can see, here's my battery bank. There's 5 batteries. I put some foam up on top of them just to keep a little extra protection. If you haven't seen these before, I made my own bus bars. I mean, this is some top level pro stuff here. This is what you'd expect to see like in a high-end yacht or something. Honestly, I've only seen one other RV ever to have anything done even close to this. Bet you wish your battery bank looked like that, don't you? I know for a long time I did. We spent so long waiting to upgrade the batteries into solar. We're talking 4 years. We were always the people in our group that had the generator running, that didn't have enough battery and solar. Not anymore. You know, now I've got a ton of battery, I've got a ton of solar, I've still got generators for backup. I've got 4 different ways of heating out here in the wintertime. I have 2 different ways of cooling. I finally feel like I am properly prepared. What do you think? Huh? The air smells so clean out here today. Yeah, this is my favorite time of year out here. Temperatures in the low to mid 70s every day. Yeah, we got wind. Yeah, it's gotten dusty, but man, just a little bit of dust and wind to have this kind of beauty and just no people around. No having to share this with the public or anything like that. I love it. I wouldn't trade this for anything. There it is, I hear the tractor. Tractor's going back to Home Depot today. Unfortunately, it broke. But look how much, get off there. Go on, get.